Welcome back to the DreamHack PUBG Showdown. Bear in mind, this is all for that chance to get to Austin, and I'm not alone in doing this. I've traded out the Ginger, I've upgraded, and I've got Avenger. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing very well. I mean, the only thing we're missing here is now facial hair.
I'll work on it. I mean,
I'm trying, but
I
it's
can
not.
draw a little like, something on.
No.
No, don't do it.
What a fantastic game, though.
Yes, I've.
I really didn't expect that from Texas. Wow.
No, that play coming around the back, he almost managed to do something even beyond what he achieved. But that was excellent considering he was on his own for so long.
Yeah, and also, I mean, he was laying on the road there and just. And also, of course, he pushed all the way around, being able to come up behind that. I didn't really expect that. I thought they were going to go out in 4th or 5th.
Absolutely.
But fantastic play by Knights here. The newest addition of that team.
Well, we have to see how that's kind of affected the standings, I guess. Let's have a little peek towards those when they're ready. Pop them up for you guys, see how it's all looking. Of course, only 2 teams will qualify from this round of things. We already have some qualified teams, but let's see how this goes. Harvey's still holding on to that top 3, but Noxious coming in pretty strong considering they had a nice performance there too.
Yep, of course, Noxious here being able to take that win. They didn't have a good game last game, really good game, but they had a decent game last game. But this is kind of the teams we expected to be up here. Unfortunately, DC being in the bottom, though, but they are being hard contesting in Pochinki. I'm really excited to see what they're going to maybe change up something, swap up some of the strats.
Yeah, what do you think about that DC play there? They seem pretty hell-bent on taking the fight quite early on. They may be feeling they could just win that out and move on, or do you think that's something you need to kind of keep in mind, that sometimes you do have to give that up, even if you are the more favorable team?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like the first 2 rounds is when you want to fight. But after this, if these guys, they kept coming here and they're not like kind of succeeding, I would dip out. I would go somewhere else. Yeah, 100%. I mean, 16 teams, you have a lot of open space still. Roshok School, that whole area, that's kind of crimson right now, and they usually loot Stalba Kameshki, so that's also new for them. So they could hard contest, Roshok Watertown and take that from them, because they're not going to keep onto have that as well. Multi-power is also open still, so there's a lot of open space, and you don't want to fight for Pochinki. I mean, it's a good place alone, but you don't want to fight for it.
Absolutely. This is always the point, isn't it? That if you do get that solo loot on your own, if you're, I don't know if do Method even still go there on their own if they're in the tournament, so they still Pochinki team. See, and again, like if they are in the matchup, you kind of know, all right, that's their territory to a degree. You kind of play around that. But again, even then, you'll still see them sometimes walking out there with level 1 vests, and they'll have to kind of go for that follow-up loot elsewhere. Yeah,
100%. I talked to Andy about it, actually, and they changed from looting a long time to looting a bit shorter, not taking that much loot, being that greedy, and then just leaving early. Because of the meta kind of shifted as well. So they're kind of staying about 2 minutes, 2:30 minutes, 2.30, and then looting there. DC, they'll loot a bit longer and get a lot better loot, because they want to just fight for a bit longer. And also, it really depends on what lobby you play and what other teams you play, because if you're going to have some of the teams going super early center, then it's not worth going unless you have good enough loot, of course, for it. Yeah.
Well, it does seem as though the game is almost ready. We'll be jumping into that one in a second. Now, bear in mind, that middle of the table has still got so much room to move. You've got Na'Vi in there. You've got Vitality sitting around there. One good game, one, I guess, top 2 finish, top 3 finish, and they just shoot right up the table. So,
yeah, 100%.
Plenty
also,
to play
10
for.
games. It's
that
10 games. Right? So we
I
have
do
5.
Forget that.
We have 5 today, and we have 5 tomorrow as well, starting at 11. And we're going to go off to the game.
Yeah, let's find out where that line is. Plenty available. Again, the eastern side a little further to get to, but I'm kind of hoping we see someone shift towards Milta Power and start maybe fighting for the real estate that they might know is available now. Maybe just a couple of games, getting their kind of, I guess, feet into the game, feeling it out, working out where people are. But at the moment, is there anyone standing out to you, maybe looking towards going somewhere new or anything different, or is this kind of run-of-the-mill?
I'm 100% expecting DC to change something up, and we see that now. So we see the boys here, they're gonna go Pochinki, and DC's not gonna do this, so they're gonna go on the West Coast. I think they're gonna kind of challenge up the Plumbers here. It looks like they're gonna go in the Gatka area, West Coast area, and loot that. But also you have Project X going there, and I'm not sure if you want to contest that already. The Western Coast is already pretty stacked up. Vitality obviously going towards Milta, and here we see Vega Squadron. They're not gonna contest Rogue again, so they're gonna go towards Novo. Rogue is going to have melee to themselves, as they usually do, but I don't know what Vega wanted to do there. They had Novo the first round for free, and then everything was good, didn't change. And then, obviously, just jumping into Rogue. I've seen them doing that before in scrims, and I remember Rogue saying, boys,
why?
I mean, you die all the time, so why do you come here? So they got a bashing again here, so Rogue is they're gonna keep themselves here, and obviously a team like Rogue, they don't care about the first circle. They just come late. They prioritize having extremely good loot. Obviously, military grade loot. Sometimes come out with level 3 armors now that we don't have the helmets anymore. Having those Kar 98s, SKSs, and look in this circle. This could be the military circle we've been waiting for so long. We didn't have military circles all yet in the European games. So they could be the first one if it shifts a bit there.
Oh,
so
this
yeah,
will be interesting.
original team of domination. They're gonna be having Pachinki to themselves.
Well, I guess you were right. The learning curve has happened. DC, I guess, tried what they could for a little while. They gave it a go and simply just didn't work out for them. So adjustments being made, teams now adjusting as they go forward because it does get towards crunch time, right? You can't keep dipping out in last place or finishing out in very lower end of the table. You've got to start changing up and trying to find new available routes that actually might work here.
Yeah. And look at this West Coast here. I'm actually surprised that we see so many teams not... I mean, Puffcan, Military Power, everything is open here on the eastern side. Of course, it's a long jump. You have to take cars. But the western side is just so stacked here. Vega Squadron and Novo, they're going to keep that. They should just keep doing that. Novo is a good place to loot. If we have a northern plane, they could go Saki instead. Kind of like we know Noble doing it from the North American scene. But still, red zone here in the south. We have Alabama North also in the south on the Ferropier side. Project X also in the south. There's so many teams here in the southwestern side of the circle. Obviously a good circle for this, so they're going to be happy. But let's see what's going to happen here. Vitality Shift. He's going to move early. He's going to go super early here, taking an early transition.
We saw Shiv as well being the solo man in the last game. He was playing on the southern side. The rest of the team was slightly further towards the north, kind of under Yaz. So he looks like he is the kind of more solo guy. There is threats there, though. There are, there is the team spread across that south side of the road, or I guess north of the south road. But still, he's on his own, kind of scouting it out. He can get a nice position if they want to try and transition to that later. He can lock that down. Very easy if you're going to solo, get enough loot that you can at least sustain yourself. Yeah,
and we see this kind of scouting strat, and it's more often just the guys that have the two-seater bike or have the most loot that just go early and scout this out. But it's kind of changing the meta as well because it's not that viable anymore. Because before, people were like, okay, if anybody comes close, I'm just going to shoot it. But now people actually listen for that. Okay, this is the same gun shooting. This might be one guy. We're just going to breach this. Just go full 2, 3, 4 man into this compound and just take it over. So this scouting strat might not be as viable as it was a couple of months ago. So it's kind of exciting to see how it's going to shift off that. Here, Noxious going to loot Yasnaya. Good decision for them. Liquid not being in the lobby. So they're going to be taking all that. Noxious being Rix, Knaz, and Kavorka, the old boys. And now T-Bone and Reels being picked up by Alliance.
And T-Bone played incredibly well before as well. He really had a big performance.
Yeah, and I recently played with him in the last season before dedicating myself more to casting, but playing with T-Bone, also Reels, all these boys played all with them. Fantastic player, young talent, and I'm really happy to see him being picked up by Alliance here. I think the new Alliance lineup here is gonna, with Reels and T-Bone with that addition, I think this is gonna be fantastic for them.
Well, eyes towards DC. They had bowed away from Pachinki. They didn't fancy that. They'd had some poor luck in the first couple of rounds, so decided let's adjust. And the West Coast kind of, I guess, picking these smaller compounds, working their way around. They have cars. They're perfectly fine for now. I don't know how much is really occupied here by other teams. There's certainly other people, but they have their line. They have a good couple of compounds to get to. They could have a bit of a, I guess, a scrap going on if they do get caught, but they should be able to peel off it pretty fine. They shouldn't be caught out. A team of that caliber shouldn't get compromised early, but then again, I didn't think they'd misread the fight in Pachinki either. But, it is what it is. It's still relatively early, but this does start becoming crunch time, and of course, in the back of their minds, they're going to start wondering where do we transition towards once we actually drop into this, because they'll know roughly where teams are, where teams like to go. But again, there's always that threat of, slightly variance on it, and it looks like that Eastern Bridge is going to be toyed with for now. They don't have to cross anywhere if you are the team out in Novo, but it's going to be fun to see if Rogue maybe catch a glimpse of one or two teams. They've got to be aware that no one fought us here this time. Where the hell is that team who joined us last time?
Yeah, I mean they got Miniman as the coach here, so he's going to be looking at the VODs or looking at the games live, even being able to note that down and give them that feedback between those games here. We're going to see an Orc. Extremely nerfed. I don't know if you play with the new Orc.
Haven't actually tried the new Orc yet.
It's so nerfed. It's basically the same as an M4 now. So it's so nerfed. It's not a strong gun anymore. But still being able to take that, put a vert grip on it and compensate, it's still gonna be good, but still not the laser beam it was before.
We have a fight actually going for this as well. The Novo team and the Melee team, so Rogue coming into this as well. I'm not sure who's got the best position yet or if they've truly noticed each other. That's gonna be an angle already found for Fuffins here. probably been spotted on the other side as well, considering they're already prone down, using the cover well. You can see these guys being a little bit cautious. Vega just going to take their time. A couple of shots being exchanged. The Car 98 looking quite tasty here, but I don't know if Fuffins knows about the player just off towards his eastern side. He's going to know there's a player close, but how close is the question I'm hearing. Nades being ticked, smokes being put up. And Fuffins got to be careful on these angles. He can dip down, back away. That looked like a shot was going to land, but he doesn't quite get it. Going to use the smoke to adjust around and see if he can keep tabs on this, as a couple of the players have already backed away from the situation.
Yeah, Kemba here yet to lay down. He did hit him in the chest with this Car 98. Fuffins a great player. Kemba has to dip out from this fight. He might just have to go for the water here. The car is not viable for him. It's not going to be fast enough. But Vega, they have set up camp a bit further east here. They're going to be taking some fight here. I'm not sure it's worth taking this fight, though. Jassa is going to take out Kemba with that frag nade.
Excellent nade, literally to his feet, and he's done for. You know he can't be saved. He was maybe hoping he could heal up, run to the water, and swim to that safety point his teammates had set up, but that's not going to be viable. Bear in mind, Ewan could have always flanked this as well, but Rogue now being a little pressured still, kept on their toes, but unlikely to see a shot coming through. You can see the limited amount of bullets as well coming in for this player here.
Oh! He has 6 bullets left in his M16.
Not
a lot of bullets. I mean, they didn't loot for a long time in Novo either, but they did want the prime position here. You do have the chance of it shifting south. I'm really excited to see here the next zone, and this is kind of the zones where you really see the really good macro players, where they're superior to others because they take a decision where they say either they go dead center, have a good position there, or they just wait for the next circle, because the next circle and even the circle after that is just going to decide everything.
Absolutely. Now that western side, you look over by Gatka, the sort of play coming in from George and such. This is going to be a huge rotation train. DC are working their way through there. You know, one of the team's quite quick to it, but there's a couple of players already trying to, I guess, be potential gatekeepers, or at least make it annoying if they do stop and slow down. We do have Ewan going for the underwhelming drop that's there. Obviously, the level 3s inside it are lovely. That's always a nice touch.
Yeah, 100%.
But the rest of his team are keeping these guys pinned down. It looks like a bit of trouble here. It looks like we've got a knock as well coming through, crawling their way forward, and there it is. Rogue dominant, keeping good position, keeping them locked in. Now, there is a reply, though, so it's not for nothing. Jazza could be in trouble here unless they can create some cover, which is going to be the plan, but that 416, as nerfed as it may be, still keeping them on their toes.
Yeah, Kippy here taking some shots. Vega, a well-known team, they did somewhat okay at Star Ladder, but that was the only land they've been to. They obviously want to qualify for this as well. Looking to go to Austin, the Russian boys. And you see this team here. When you're not sure that you're gonna get anywhere sooner, you're just gonna keep looting. You see Knights doing it, Noxious, even Imperial up in the Servany side here. They're gonna be staying so far away because they know this first circle doesn't decide anything. It's the next one that's really vital. Also Vitality, they just have one guy kind of in the middle, because if it shifts towards them or if it shifts south, they have that bridge in the east and they can gatekeep that and cross that to safety.
All right, let's see how this one unfolds. It looks like DC have kind of decided a spot for now. There are players very close by, though, just over that ridge in the compound. There are players there. Whether or not they actually go for the fight on it, they don't even have to. For now, you can see them scouting around, trying to find out the information. Decent enough loot, but this could be a fight. Swing around from Savage, and he gets locked out of that one. Already a bit of a shutdown here. This is the compound. I'm pretty sure DC were considering looking it up, but now hearing these shots, they know bare minimum 2 teams are already here. And this could be problematic. Shots from the ridge coming in as well. Kind of up on his own here. Teammates do barrel in. 3 more players left alive, and they might springboard off this. Looking around, 1 player in towards the long barn, just off to the right. Level 1 helmet still up, and plenty fire comes in. The AK gets outdone. That was a teammate actually accidentally getting the shot through in the end, I'm pretty sure. And you're going to see the revive coming in. So far, so good for these guys. I'm pretty sure that's Project X coming in, getting the revive now and gaining some sort of foothold into this compound. There are still teammates alive in the big building, into the longer house there. But they're not really actively looking for this. DC as well can lay down fire whenever they feel it's appropriate. Yeah,
we actually saw Navi here actually knocked Ekidorp on this fight. So he's standing in the open.
It was the Navi player?
It was Navi, yeah. He knocked Ekidorp there from the north. So that's fantastic. You have 4 teams kind of fighting for this position. It is an extremely strong hill, this. So Navi here on the foot. And they're just going to be pushing here straight into DC.
Yeah, they're literally over this ridge. I'm not sure who's going to spot who first. I'm pretty sure they're going to know the shots were coming through roughly. But again, you're painting this mental picture of how many teams are around you right now. This is the big information play. You've got 16 teams alive. You've heard bare minimum 2 teams fighting, if not shots from the ridgeline. So you're going to know there's roughly 3 teams around you for DC. And they're an intelligent team. They're not going to be, you know, completely caught off guard by this. But it's also a hard hill to keep that full cover on. Those trees aren't quite thick enough to give you that full coverage, but you can still work those defilades well. But we are still seeing this circle closing in. We have seen the teams towards the northern side and the eastern side pushing themselves forward. They're in a good position too. Keep in mind, no massive fights, but that is a big shift there. Millie Island players going to have to move. The eastern side of the circle has to move. And these guys, they're safe-ish for now, but there's going to be a lot more teams coming their way.
Yeah, and there's a lot more great compounds available for the taking. The whole western side is kind of open. You have 40% of the western side is not taken by anyone. You see Imperial with that far rotation coming in from north as well. Noxious as well. They're going to come in late, and they're going to even come straight into the Pachinki here side. That's it, also free for the taken. Navi's going to make a move for it as well. They're going to take that compound as well. We see Knights here also rotating all the way from the east coming in as well.
Oof, Texas, we've seen what he can do. So eyes towards him in the future. Going to be relaying the information that there's a huge rotation coming out. You can see the fire coming in as well. This could bode poorly for the teams coming from the northeast if they get, you know, a bit of an unlucky shot hit them. That mini certainly buffed now, but this could be a reach. That buggy desperate to cling on to life as Texas now going to make the cross. 2 through the gauntlet. No big problems just yet, but you can see this huge rotation, and this compound's been breached. They pushed this. The 4-1-6 in hand, waiting in the corner, seeing if they're going to push in towards this one. Teams just about everywhere. This is hugely fought for. DC's still in the hills, so the windows contain plenty of threat. And oh, they've actually come into this compound as well. This is a huge play coming in from these guys. Noxious, previous champion to the last round, but that's a good work from Tiltmaster. Race from the hip, couldn't quite get much more, but it's a bloodbath going down in this one bit of a compound. So many teams already being put through the ringer here.
Yeah, that is the first team going out. Alabama North is taken out here, and Dre Rectu is kind of alone here. He's going to get naded. Is it going to go in, though? Sure, no. Staying in this small bathroom here, but still a really good push here. And timing-wise, it is fantastic for Noxious just taking this compound. You can share this compound, though, but you kind of don't want to stay here. We are in the second circle, and there's still a lot of possibility that this circle, compound is not going to be in the next circle.
Raxi's going to be just going in for it there. They're so aggressive here. I've got to like Vitality for that aspect. They just take the fights when they feel they have them. Smoke's going up, nades going up, going to put out whatever they can just to buy a second to get those heals in. Maybe consider a revive if they could get it, but right now it's Knights from the back lines laying in fire as well. This is a lot of long-range fighting, and that SKS now certainly pretty sweet in comparison to what it was. But still, these compounds, they're being locked down. This is Vitality here, different compound, but Momino and the team not far away either. Shiv's still in trouble, but I think his revive might be a little bit too far from what they could achieve.
Yeah, I think so too. DC still putting some pressure onto this compound here. A lot of fights going on for the prime compounds because these are big enough compounds that you can share them, but still, we're still in the second circle. Next one is going to move in. DC is going to knock Monkey here. That is 2 knocks for Vitality. Now, surely, Avangar has to push this. They have 2 knocks onto them.
Oh, this
but
is lovely.
There are only 2 guys alive, so DC and Mominu is down to a 2 versus 2.
Yeah, dies there. Just waiting for Shiv to try and crawl up. You could see them putting the smokes down, trying to get it happen. Monkey's still in trouble. They're kind of leaving him to rot. See if anyone fancies it. Bit of an angle there. Doesn't quite get the shot through from Shadow. Operating as carefully as he can. Momino going to keep him pinned in as well. Araxi considering what his options are here. As you said, you can share these compounds, and there's that SLR doing some real damage. Not had much of a chance to get my hands on that gun, but I've had it once and it feels absolutely monstrous. And the AK as well. Momino's pretty well stacked here. Not sure what sort of helmets or armor he's rocking right now, but I can see he's pretty well set considering he's taking the fights on the windows.
Yeah, 100%. Level 2, level 1 on him. Level 3 backpack to hold all that heavy 7.62 ammo now. Running double 7.62 guns. Zone is slowly moving in. Rogue here are the only guys on the complete south here. So they made it away safely. Red zone on the east as well. And
I love how well split Rogue are as well. Look at the amount of just information and real estate they've gathered. That whole south side is theirs. They've split 2 players pretty far apart. So they can springboard off each other. As soon as that rotation comes in, they know they're pretty safe. They've got the information. They can also start, again, mentally understanding where all the hell these teams are.
Yeah, 100%. Also, some of the compounds in the southwest here, even further in, it's not taken yet. So the next zone is going to pop. We're going to see where it's going to go. And it's going to go east here. So surely the Rogue now has to move on the glass house on Ewan. They have a really good position, but the gas station is also available for the taken.
Not a bad spot. Still, you've got a couple of teams on it. You know, DC could if they really, for some reason, feel like it, they could just jump there if they want to. They can certainly take good fights towards it. But then again, your back's pretty open and the fire comes in. It looks like Havu are going to be racking up the kills this time. Laying down fire, and they did get the knock and the kill to follow. Cloudtail there, getting punished already. And Havu this time, maybe putting up more of a resistance, getting those kills in, trying to, again, claim the top of that scoreboard.
Yeah, 100%. Havu, strong team. New addition, Havoki. Not sure if he signed it yet, but still they have played with him for some while. Fantastic player as well. Have a pretty decent position here on the new zone, on the edge, so they can stay here, gatekeep, because this is kind of a path that you want to transition to. Hayes and the boys from the Plumbers, they have to do the same kind of transition. They could go for the long rotation all the way around like Imperial did, but we'll see that. It looks like they're going to do that. Still, Vega Squadron on the north, they have to make a transition as well. Yeah, the Plumbers. Now full 4. First game 2. Second game 3, and now 4. It kind of took them time to wake up, so they woke up in stages, I guess. But now they are full indeed.
It does seem as though you're right. Rogue considered that the garage was maybe the better position here, maybe feeling they're safe enough to go to it. They could always split a player elsewhere, but a fire from Crimson as the rotations do come through. And we will see another member trying to make the pass again. But Crimson's, the player here is relatively out on his own, and that's great from That was T-Bone. Where did he just get that from?
He's down in the compound down the south where they breached earlier. So they're in the priority buildings there. T-Bone giving the finish. And now Suntouch as well knocked from Imperial. So Imperial has 1 player left, losing Cloudtail to Harvard earlier.
Oh, this is nice.
Opie. Half HP, the last player. He has a decent position inside the zone, but the next zone is going to be really rough to him, I think.
Yeah, we're going to see those level 3s being collected. And up we go on the bike, taking a couple of hits from the blue for the sake of the pickup. Obviously worthwhile at this point for that level 3 helmet and everything else you get for it. They're taking the long rotation. They're even taking that blue hit to take the safer route through rather than just gunning it through the hills. And just going to turn up late to the party. It's not a bad idea, but there are already teams set up quite nicely in this one. Rogue, if they get the timing right, could already have the safety beside them too. We see T-Bone this time being punished, but that could be that perpetual fight going on in that compound. Very central, of course. No one having to be forced to be moved from it just yet. So keep that in the back of your mind. He could be revived here, could be in hard cover. Might not be an issue, but if he goes down, he was a bit of a headhunter. He was a big fragger in the last game, and we're going to be seeing the team rocking up here. Shade going to be making the call. You can see them already setting up here. This SLR could tear him to pieces. 8 times ready to go. Not sure what else he's got to work with, but depending on this, they're going to be gate kept here. This is going to be very tricky for these guys to work their way in towards, especially with that blue closing in now.
Yeah, they're definitely getting pushed by the zone here. Not a position they want to be with. Of course, the other stuff is happening as well, and the Director is going to knock. This is going to be the last player. Now T-Bone is going to be finished off. So that is Noxious winning that last game, but taking out on 15th in the next one here. Not what they hoped for.
No, certainly not a couple of kills here and there, but it looks like the cars, they've been picked right back up. And this hurts like hell. That's a shot and a half. Reese B left bleeding on the floor as the rest of his teammates scatter away from the SLR and every other bullet comes away. That was a tag as well, I'm pretty sure, towards Hayes. He's desperate for life and he might just make it out of here. Oh, he's actually hit the tree. That could be problematic. Does just about make it in. How is he alive?
I'm not sure how Hayes is making it, no, but Jazz is going to take down Hayes. I'm not sure if he can finish it as well. Plumbers in a super rough transition here. They came in very late, but they do have 2 players alive. I'm not sure if Hayes is going to be picked up, though. Rogue in this double transition here. Oof. Next zone is going to push very far east now. Red zone in the dead center.
Yeah, this AK is going to be put to work. Texas, oh, he can't get back in. His teammates blocked him. Just about gets back inside, and the revive will happen, but this is all going to be kicking off. Ewan's there, going to be finding the Knights team. And thankfully, Rogue did split 2-2, so not only did they gatekeep out Hayes and the boys and keeping everyone back behind them, but they can now springboard forward. And oh god, that's not what you want. Rocking right up to this compound, that Vector, we know what this thing can do. It shreds, but no extended mag. You're limited, but still going to find one. Kramer goes down, goes back in for more, leaning, peeking, but fire from the back lines. He's got to make his move and make it now. He just dives on in. He does get the spray, but he doesn't get the kill. And it will be Knight staying alive again, but look at the other dead bodies in there. If that bike blows, that could take these guys down. There's not much of a shot on it, it seems. It's got it smoking, a couple more bullets, and that might do the job. But for now, it's Froz laying down the fire. The rotations are deadly, the door gets shut, and somehow Knights are still alive.
Not sure how these guys made it here with that bike being in there. These now, Avangas also had to make a move, trying to just rotate here. Frost is taking so much fire onto these guys. Vitality lost a player as well, so Shadow is going to be on 10% HP, being pushed by Vanga. He's going to be taken down. Swap to Rogue here real quick. Shadow is still alive. He took out both of them. Taking some help from Redzo, obviously, but now Shadow, the last player, it looks like, from Vitality, is going to be there. Red Zone really helping them out, though. Vanguard, though, is pretty sure out of the game now.
They've got to be, surely. I mean, we're down to 13 teams here. There's still a lot to be played for. I'm loving the rotations from Rogue. They've been so crisp on them. Good positioning now, down by the yellow houses with the fire again on the cross. There's no easy way into this circle anymore. Havoki that time's the one going to be landing the shots. And Havu, this time, really standing their ground, taking a lot of active fights, and they're making it count here.
Yeah, 100%. Gatekeeping supremely here. Crimson is, or Jambavi from Crimson, we'd say, is on the edge here. Anonymous and Haze is going to push onto Frost. Haze is gonna lose his life here, surely, but Anonymous is half HP and inside this shack.
The thing is that Haze is going to be bleeding out pretty fast as well. Even if they go for that revive, you know he's been knocked before, so that's going to be problematic. But now the blue still closing in. This fight has a time limit to it. And Paige will be trying to push further forward. Trying to get the angle, got the high ground, spots out the player, gets the kill. Great work. Going to push further forward. That looks like a team gone too there, so really big claim. Yeah. And with the slow side of the circle, he might even be able to get his teammate up here. That's not bad at all.
Very well played by these guys. The new addition to this lobby here, original Team of Domination. Obviously contesting DC and Pochinki. They're going to make a name for themselves just by that. And Vegas got out of the game. They have some rough games here. They really need to step it up if they want to make their way to Austin. Na'Vi with 3 players alive. Inside the zone as well, on the slower side of the shift. Shade and Drainus. Good position. Havu really trying to put pressure onto everyone on this western side and northern side of the zone here.
Yeah, we're seeing everyone just trying to find the right place to be. There's very little hard cover left. You know, you've got the extremities, sure, the yellow houses, couple of hills here and there, but that central area, it's a whole lot of fields and very few shacks. Now that's a spot and a half. Horseman, actually clinks, but the shot comes in and the aim punch is certainly pretty prevalent. Push his way forward as best he can, and Paige, actually the teammate, going to find one of them. That's excellent work from him. Going to be really pressuring Na'Vi here, but Red Zone going to join in on the fight. This is very, very problematic for Na'Vi. They are pinched, and there's no two ways about it. They are caught in the dip in between the two hills. And really, from one team to another, it'll be Team of Domination. They're really laying down the fire. They're not going to get out of this. That smoke surely can't save them this time.
I think so, no. Drainus is going to be picked up, though, but he is left at 10% HP. So Paige, he could just hit one more shot, or the car can blow up. Oh, Drainus surviving that. I'm not sure. It must be some special strats here.
And there's the shift. Again, the southern circle, to a degree, relatively central here, but it's so good for Rogue. Look how spread out they're so assertive in the amount of, I guess, real estate they want to claim in these circles.
And also, I mean, Rogue here, they had such a long transition. We saw them, and they were on foot. They were on foot all the way, so they had an extremely good transition, just pushing the zone again and again. They haven't got any zones on them, but they just kept on pushing them, and a really good position they have here. Having all that yellow real estate is just so important here, keeping everyone else out. You have Knights in one of the shacks, you have Anonymous in the other shack, DC's in the shack as well, and then there's the wooden shack in the middle that no one wants.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, hey, look at this pretend cover I don't have. Now, having the cars still is going to be some decent, I guess, piece to it. And they could use the drop crate as well, I guess. But Havu are looking for anything they can here. Build cover if they have to. Knights are really not far away. Now, it depends who gets which angle, who can spot what out. But it looks like Havu are aware there's a huge potential that there's going to be someone in this. It looks like Paige has gone down, and Horseman as well. So they've been removed from the battlefield. Na'Vi living to fight another day, somehow working their way into this. Now, with Havu taking the fight towards Knights, Na'Vi might get a shot at this. And that depends on how active those teams and players on the hills are. But you can see that mini coming through. Red Zone laying down. Good fire there. And Knights in the smoke, still staying alive.
Yeah, Knights here. They have the shack here, but it's the door's the other way. So if they move out, they have this immense pressure from everyone else. So they really have to stay there. But they also have to gatekeep and keep Havu away, because if Havu gets too close, they can just nade inside the shack and they're gone.
Well, let's see how this one unfolds. A couple of knocks here and there. Rogue have managed to take down another team. It looks like 9 teams now remaining, 19 players alive. And you're just trying to pretend that you're a buggy. I'll accept it. Why not at this point? There's not much other cover. But Fuffin's going to find one. That's, again, I think Project X there being pressured. And problematic for them going forward, but again, I'm loving what Rogue are doing. They're just overwatching all of this. They're in such a good spot. They've got a good bit of range to them as well. Decent enough gear. All players live. 5 kills between them. And look at the distinct lack of cover everywhere else.
Yeah, these fields are super rough to play, but still, these smokes, they are so important for this kind of play here. The next zone, though, if Rogues have to cross the road, they're going to be in such a hard transition. I'm really excited to see this next zone here. Red zone still have the high ground, putting some pressure onto everyone. But surely they can't stay there forever.
Here we go. And that does mean Rogue do indeed need to move. They have one Vitality man who could be a bit of a nuisance, to say the least. He's not really shown much hand. He's been playing it very slow. And here comes the tick of the grenade. Let's see if it's going to dip right in. 2 players starting to crawl their way forward. It looks like the nade goes through, but it doesn't quite catch him. It does push him further forward, but they're still alive. They're still sitting relatively pretty. And if I'm Havu, I'm bloody baffled as to where my nades have gone. He's going to alley-oop it up and over. And oh, peekaboo around the side. Kramer delivers a bullet, but he just oversteps, and the instant trade comes back in. Nades now being put to place for Havu. They're going to put up their fight as best they can. Smokes to be put into play as well. There's the nade coming out.
Fantastic nade. Again, I don't really mind. We saw him in the first game as well, nading. Fantastic nades here. Really what they hope for. But now they have to push. They have this little ridge here they can push. Pokemon is in the north as well.
Where is Anonymous?
Anonymous in a shack.
Is that a shack next to them?
Shack, yeah.
Dear Lord, how is he doing this? I'm pretty... Yeah. Yeah, that's not fun. Shut the door, close your eyes, and pray for tomorrow, because that is not a position you want to be in. But it's safe to a degree. You are smothered in smoke and have Na'Vi at the door, but you're seeing so much movement now coming in. The blue circle is about to move. All these teams are under pressure. Rogue finally put out a place. They have to get into these circles. Good shots from the red zone side, but they are relatively well set. I say relatively. Cover on the move. The one bit of cover, that being the car. Anonymous now takes his time to strike. And he actually gets down one of the players from red zone. I thought this was Na'Vi. Tell a lie, it is red zone. They're still doing okay in this. I'm surprised they're alive, but at the moment, one man crawls his way forward in the back lines. Havu still doing damage towards DC. First time we've seen them getting pressured again in a long time. But they aren't safe either. Havu are fighting out in the danger zone as a DC. Rogue, in the meantime, taking this moment to move in, and Jazza strikes towards DC. That is excellent moves.
Yeah, Rogue here, they have 4 guys alive, and they have a kind of high ground. So they can just put so much pressure onto DC. Now Jock is taken down as well. Ewan, the last player alive, he's just running in the open. Pokemon, though, is going to be taken out. DC's out now. So Na'Vi out in 6th, DC out in 5th, and now 4 teams alive.
9 players stand, not many, but Rogue are the big headhunters here. These are the guys that are going to be keeping you up at night. Something of nightmares, that positioning. Still keeping so much room across the circle as well. With all players there, they've smothered that south to east side. There's still plenty of potential for a couple of fights. Havu, still good spot in a way, but there's so little cover to play, and they're dependent on smokes and hopefully someone else sabotaging Rogue and maybe giving them a chance. But if you're Anonymous or if you're the other player for Red Zone, you're just staying the hell away from this fight. You're just going to let these guys battle it out as best they can and try and strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, I mean, Anonymous, he really wants just to stay in there. Doesn't want to take a fight. He has a really good position as well. Celis is also the last player alive from Red Zone. But now Havu here, they in the open. They have a small, tiny ridge. But I'm pretty sure that from the south that they're going to be taken out. Yeah, Jorski taken down to 5% HP. 2 knocks. Oh, and now Havu, last player alive. Oof. Now Anonymous is peeking as well. You just want to stay. You don't want to peek. You're inside the zone, or at least this current zone, but the next zone is going to move away.
And now they 100% know where he is. I mean, before they could have theorized, and that looks like Havu are locked out of that one. They're done for. They had to take a fight there to do something, otherwise you're running through the open fields. But now so, Anonymous's position is duly noted. They know that. Rogue still have the numbers, but I guess you have that one player who hasn't shown full hand yet. Now, Anonymous has potential in this, but he's no idea there's a player behind him. He might have a creeping suspicion, because they had that fight and there's still 3 teams alive. So they know Rogue's up, because they got all those kills towards Havu. He's like, I'm alive, so where's that additional man? Is he proning? Is he in the field? But look at Rogue, so assertive, going to push forward, gain that ground, start the sweeping. As Anonymous kind of cowers in the corner. There's not much more in this situation he can do. He is pinned in, and actually, it's going to be the red zone player. Celis coming in from the back lines. Going to try and make it count while he can. And now the 1v4 begins again. Celis, good luck, have fun. None of the words I just said are going to matter, because it looks like Rogue are really hungry for this one. And they've got him pinned the hell in, no matter what angle he peeks. Nade's starting to come through, and he knows he's in trouble. If he could just get one, it'd be done, but it's not the case. It's going to be Rogue to close this one out with a very assertive way of playing that matchup.
Fantastic play from them. I think that's 14 kills to Rogue. Fantastic play by them. Really what they needed as well to propel themselves up to the top 1 or 2 here. Anonymous being able to take that 3rd place. Red Zone, of course, also with a lot of kills. They got themselves 8 kills. A good position from them as well. Havu still 4th. DC now looting somewhere else, coming 5th.
You can see the adjustments being made, and I think that's going to echo further forward in the next couple of games as well, kind of teams learning. Maybe this is the more settled point. No one was, I guess, too for early on, unless there's a huge shift in the playing path. But overall, I'm so impressed with Rogue. Like, I loved how they approached that one, the way they kind of not only played the rotations, but their approach to taking circle control and everything they had. It just looked great for them. Yeah,
and they didn't have any cars, so they were just on foot, on foot, on foot, and they just moved. Remember how far they were in ferry pier when they started? Then 2 guys, they swung all the way around. Just like the macro and the micro play here is just fantastic of them. Super. Also being one of the favorites, I really hope them to do this well.
It does seem as though we'll be working out what the standings are as well, coming up, I guess, after the break there. But overall, is there anyone who surprised you yet in that game, or is that kind of as you'd expect? Is this starting to become more regular, I guess?
I mean, I think we're going to be in a place now where we're kind of in a stage where now everyone has kind of found their spot, so they're not going to change too much. And then I think we're just going to see a slight change here and there. Otherwise, it's just going to be business as usual, and then I'll just try to propel himself forward.
Well, I do feel as though it's almost time for us to head to a break, but I think that's a pretty good game all in all. I'm pretty happy. How's the casting? Was it all right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. We're happy. First time casting together, I think it was good. Also, it was a good game. Rogue here taking that win. I think this deserved, sure to say.
Absolutely. Right, we're going to head to a short break, but when we're done, we'll be back with the standings, and then the next matchup, of course, coming up after the back of that.